Excuse the background noise this morning. I'm doing laundry and trying to get some work done before I leave to go to work. Well, I'm up to the place now. Today's subject is going to be about mirroring. A narcissist. Well, I've been reading about it, and mirroring is just a technique that a lot of people do, and some people don't even realize they're doing it. It's little things. It can be little things like you may see someone wearing a nice blouse or pair of earrings that you like, and you might want to go out and get a pair like that, or you might want to cut your hair away. I'm sorry for my voice this morning. You pick up little things about somebody that you like, or a mannerism that they have, and you may start finding yourself doing that without even realizing it. But mirroring for a narcissist is a technique. Some of them have it down to a science. They will pick up little things about you if they begin having conversations with you or spending time with you, and you think that you're just having these normal conversations as you would with anybody else, and they're taking all that and they're hoarding that information away to use later. Things that they can talk about. You may be just having a normal conversation, and you may talk about something that you're insecure about, or you may have some fear. You may be talking about a job promotion, or it could be a relationship situation. You may give out a little bit too much information about your status. You may have had a fight with your husband or wife, or even with your brother or sister, and you may tell them about that, and you may be kind of angry at that person, and you might say something kind of, in an angry tone toward that person. Well, they will take that, and they will start chipping away at that, and they will start making you feel, well, that's kind of like grooming, so I'll get into that later, but they just, if you tell them, I'm upset about something, well, they're going to tell you they're upset about something very similar, and they're going to gain your confidence, get you to talk to them about it, and we just have to be careful. I know it's hard when you have a friend or a somebody who you're interested in, or a coworker. It could be anybody really that you may find yourself in a moment of weakness, or a moment of just kind of a outburst where you just overshare and talk too much and tell too much, and they will use that against you, or they will use that to gain your favor first, and then they'll use it against you. But people, mirroring for the narcissist, if you're depressed, if you're down in the dumps, well, they are going to be very understanding, because they've been through that, and they're either going through that or they've been through that. If you're, they will like the same things that you like. If you tell them that you went to Florida to the beach, well, they love the beach, and they'll tell you all about the wonderful things they love about the beach, and or it could just be something simple like a restaurant. You could ask, I just ate at this new restaurant in town, and oh, I love that kind of food. I can't wait to go there. That's the best cuisine. I really enjoy that type of food, and it's just little things that most of us don't even realize. We just don't even really pick up on. Somebody says, "Oh yeah, I love to go to that new pizza place, and isn't the food there just so great?" But mirroring, it's for the most part, in my own experience, my personal experience, the mirroring was in the form of contention in a relationship, such as a husband and wife coupling relationship. Now, this could be a same-sex marriage or same-sex relationship. I'm not discriminating. I'm just saying in my own personal case, I made the mistake, and I have no one to blame but myself for this, but looking back on it, it wasn't even anything that I even realized I was doing at the time. It was just, talking about stuff that was going on in my own personal life. And of course, he shared with me the similar stories. His woman that he had been involved with for many years, they had split up, and I had just recently split up with someone. It was a long-term relationship, and I was, insecure and unsure about what was going to happen going forward. It was, I was really right in the actual stages of this, having ended. It was just so quick, and I don't know if he had picked up on something on social media. I had not shared anything on my social media about that personal issue, so I don't know how he could have, and I don't even think that he ever talked to anyone that I knew as there, but he was understanding. He was I can't explain it. I've read stuff online about mirroring, and it's just they reflect back to you. You don't even know that it's happening. You don't even realize it. They will study you. They will find out things about you and your interests, your style, your personality, things you like to do. They just kind of pick up little things about you, and then they reflect that back. And I read this thing online about this. It says that if it's a relationship type situation, you feel like you're falling in love with the narcissist, but you're really falling in love with your own self, because everything that you're learning about them, everything that you're finding out about them is really just stuff that they're reflecting back to you, just like a mirror. So, when you're looking at them and you're thinking, gosh, he loves the same TV show as me. He loves the same music as me. He loves the same travel ideas as me. It's all just stuff that they have talked to you about in the past, or they've picked up on your... And social media has made this so much easier for these people. Before they would actually have to sit and talk to you, and now they can just... If you are the type of person that shares a lot on social media, and really, some people do. I mean, I've been guilty of that in the past, but I've learned, and I've gotten down to where it's friends only, and occasionally I'll post something public if it's something like a public service type thing, like something going on in the community, or something that might help somebody. But we just have to learn to guard ourselves a little more. And like I said, when you first start talking to somebody, and I'm not going to lie about it, when I first started talking to him, I was in a downward place in my life. I was going through a very emotional, unsure time, and he comes in and he starts talking to me. First of all, but whatever it was that he talked to me about, it was just something that, reflected back on myself, and that's just something that they do. And most people do that when you're when you're starting into a relationship with somebody. That they talk to you, and they want to share interests. Some people have no interest in common, and they well, I'm going to, I'd like to introduce you to this activity, and are you open-minded, to go water skiing or whatever, whatever it is. And you may have never done that before, but they may say, well, that's something I like to do, and, I'd like to see if if that's something you might be interested in. And that's what, goes on in a normal relationship when you first meet and become friends with someone. But the narcissist, you could ask them if they want to go naked skydiving, and all of a sudden they're an expert in the subject and they know everything about it, and they've actually probably done it according to them, but most of the time everything they tell you is a lie anyway. But I'm not an expert on mirroring. I'm just giving a little bit of my own personal experience. I do remember one little thing, and this is going to be, I'll wrap this video up, but it's just something so, it doesn't even really, you wouldn't even think anything about something like this. But I remember I had mentioned to him, we were texting Facebook, talking, just average. I think maybe I was at lunch at my job on my lunch break, and we got to talking about what the food it was, and I'd mentioned something about honey mustard, and I was making a joke, and I said, honey mustard must have been something that somebody discovered when they were smoking pot one night, and they just got the munchies, and they start raiding the refrigerator and just start putting everything together, and somebody discovered honey mustard. And I was just talking about how honey mustard was life, and honey mustard was this. And, the next thing I know, he's telling me, I've got this honey mustard, and he's just going on about how much he loved honey mustard. And it was something so, I can't even explain the definition of it, but it was kind of a humorous moment. We were both just laughing about our love of honey mustard. And as later when we were together and in a relationship, that was something that came back up, and it was just a little humorous thing. But I don't know if he really liked honey mustard, but he did after he found out I did. But I gotta go. I'm running out of time. I just wanted to throw that in there.